What's poppin', everybody? This is Sabro594, continuing the trend of me showcasing Stage 2 Pokemon from Astral Radiance. Today, we're going to be showing and trying to make work this Gallade from Astral Radiance. Man, I get so sad looking at this card. Gallade is another Stage 2 from Astral Radiance, probably my favorite one because it's Gallade. It's one of the cooler Pokemon. Alternative evolution of the routes Gardevoir line, DP Pokemon, DP new evolution at the time. Great ability, body catch, my kind of ability. Once per turn, you can grab any supporter card from your deck, put it into your hand, and that's about it. That's where all the good stuff stops, basically. As a Stage 2 Pokemon, he has all of the struggles of other regular Stage 2 Pokemon. Not very strong attacks, terrible HP. That's the biggest problem. 160 HP as a Stage 2. He's not gonna really last. Maybe he'll take a small hit, but most attacks, he's gonna die in one shot. But at the very least, with Buddy Catch, this sort of ability, unlike other Stage 2 Pokemon, he's gonna be slightly more consistent because he has built-in consistency with his ability, basically. If you can get this guy out, even if you don't have anything else, you don't have a supporter, then you can grab a supporter from your deck and keep going, doing this every turn. You can also grab multiple supporters if you have a bunch of these out, so you sort of prepare for whatever your opponent does. You can grab Marnie, you can grab Boss's Orders, you can grab a bunch of things you guys are going to see. So that's really the benefit of this card. Now, the Swirling Slice attack, I still insist that it's not as good as it could have been, but it's at least kind of workable. It does 160 for 3, which is not that great, but it's in that range where you can get 2-hit KOs on V-Stars and V-Maxes. I guess if you attack, maybe even some V-Maxes are going to survive that have more than 320 HP and tank or do anything else, but I suppose it's still in that range where it's going to get 2-hit KOs on V-Stars, so that's important. And it saves an energy, so when you attack, you're forced to move an energy from this Pokemon to another one of your bench Pokemon. So the idea is, if you get a bunch of these Gallades out, since they're going to be dying turn after turn in all probability anyway, you attack, you grab the DC or like a Psychic Energy, put it onto the next Gallade, and then next turn, you promote it, you attach another energy, and it's like you can attack with one energy, one attachment, since you're saving energy, like an EXP share in a way. It's not going to be perfect, and it's not always going to work out. This is a mandatory effect too, so if you don't have another routes or Gallade out, then you're going to have to put the energy on a useless support Pokemon that can't really use it. So it sucks. As a Psychic Pokemon is weak to Darkness, which is huge trouble against all the new strong Dark Pokemon. I mean, Samurott was going to kill you either way. I guess Darkrai V-Star, it just needs even fewer, just 2 energies and he gets a 1-hit KO basically, because that's 180 with its attack. It doesn't even need any other darkness energies on other Pokemon. And it's just not a great weakness to have, but it is what it is. And then the Fighter Resistance, I guess that could be handy. Some fighting Pokemon around. To Retreat, semi-big, but standard. And then the 160 HP, it's the bane of these Pokemon's existence, basically. Such low HP. Why can't you have 200 at least? 210 anyway. The other Gallade, I'm running this one as well. This is from the Chillin' Rain. It came out with the Gardevoir. They wanted to sort of bring the Gallade combo back, but it didn't happen. There's actually a stronger attacker than the other Gallade, assuming your opponent has a lot of V Pokemon in play. Dynablade, 60 damage times the number of your opponent's Pokemon Vs. And this counts V-Stars and V-Maxes. The ruling is, I'm pretty sure that's how it goes, they count as Vs. So they need to have basically 3 or more for this guy to do more damage than this one. If they have 3, you're doing 180. If they have 4, that's 240. That's very, very strong damage. And then if they have 5, you're getting a 1-hit KO on V-Stars, which is what you want. It also just needs a double colorless energy to attack. It doesn't need that extra psychic energy attachment. So it's good. It's got 10 more HP, which isn't that much of an improvement, but it's better. I'll take it. rather than 160. And Feint, it's 1 for 60. Maybe it'll come up since we do use Sentient Energies, of course. You never know. Different weakness, fighting Pokemon. I considered doing 2 and 2 because this guy is really the hard-hitting attacker, but the problem with this card is once your opponent sees this guy, then they're going to play around it. They're not going to bench a lot of V Pokemon, or when something dies, they're not going to play anything else. And without a lot of V Pokemon, he can't do anything basically. He can't do damage. At least this guy is always fixed at 160. And we got the Buddy Catch too for support. I mean, that's basically the Dynablade attack. I mean, in a way, it's... You could definitely like try to fully rely on this guy, because usually they're going to have a few V Pokemon. The Vs are the meta basically right now. I mean, if you're playing against regular Pokemon, you don't care. But the Vs are the meta, so this can potentially be a strong attacker. At the end of the day, we can recycle him if we want to use him again. But I want him to be like a trump card. Like, my opponent thinks I'm running only this guy. So, yeah. Not reveal it immediately, hopefully. So just 3 and 1 for now, but you can do 2 and 2 if you like. It's an option. Standard, it's going to be a 4-1, 4 line. Usually I run 3 stage 2s, but in this case, we're just going full out on 4. It means more cards that can be potentially dead while you're trying to set up, but I just really want to I want to utilize this guy and this guy, of course. Okay, so routes. The routes of choice is going to be this one from Astral Radiance. It has more HP than the other one. 70 plus teleportation burst is useful. Hit and switch, and then we can promote one of our support Pokemon if need be. Put routes back on the bench where it's more safe. And then the one Kirlia, 90 HP, from Astral Radiance 2. Now, I know people are going to tell me, why the fuck aren't you running the Kirlias with 80 HP that work like the Frogadier that grab other Kirlias, basically. It's not very consistent, and it's not very efficient. If I'm going to do this, it means that we're going to have to drop some rare candies or just drop some other cards, because there's not going to be space to put 3 more Kirlias, number 1. So that's a problem. And it just means more dead cards, like if you open with them. If you get them in hand, the whole thing goes to hell. It's not very efficient. And then the other thing, if you're going to do this, it means you evolving into Kirlia, attaching an energy, grabbing the other Kirlias, and the Kirlia that's active is going to die, basically. So you're wasting the attachment just to get the other ones. It is not efficient at all. I thought about it deeply, because I know that it's a very broken interaction when you can do it effectively, but it's going to die. I mean, Kirlia is going to die if you leave it active with 1 energy. This one, at least, it does the teleportation burst just like the routes. You hit and switch, and then you can potentially save it. It has more HP too. I would rather just slowly evolve into these guys to rare candies and just have these support Pokemon that I'm going to show you guys pretty soon, all of these guys here, in the active position, giving me card advantage while we're setting up the Gallades. Okay? Instead of just running 4 Kirlias of the other one from Chill and Rain, and then you gotta drop the rare candies, you gotta drop some other cards. It's not effective. I think running it like this is better. But I've been wrong before. So anyway, that's the Gallade line. Everybody else is going to be support, regular Pokemon support, and that's about it. The best one is Jirachi, because it's always going to give you a card, Dreamy Revelation. You grab 2 cards, put one in hand, then the other one at the top of your deck. Sometimes it's bad because it puts it in the top of the deck. Maybe it would have been better if it went to the bottom, if you don't reveal something good. But that's the Jirachi. Only got 1, unfortunately. It's one of those like brush rainbow foils from Vivid Voltage. I've got the one new as well from Celebrations. This card is kind of like a Jirachi wannabe, the Stutter Wish Jirachi. You basically reveal the top 6 cards of your deck, and you can grab only an item card. It's still pretty good. A lot of times it's going to be dead, but it's better than nothing. It can help us get like a level ball or something in rare candy. You never know. Handy supporter Pokemon. And then I do one Snorlax and one of the Regidrago. Regidrago, this new card from Astral Radiance as well, is basically like a crappier Gormandized Snorlax. It needs to be active to work. It's not like Uranguru. And you draw until you have 4 cards in hand. Now this is a considerably lower hand limit than Snorlax, but your turn doesn't end. So that's why I thought, hey, maybe we're gonna try this guy out too. Just do 1 and 1, because Snorlax, the annoying thing about Snorlax is that you use Gormandize, and then if your opponent does like a Marnie or even Judge, then it was basically a waste. So that's why I would rather just run more of these Jirachis or Mews rather than this guy, but I don't have any other copies. It's less cards, but at least it's more reliable, perhaps. So that's the point. So we're just going to do 1 and 1 of Regidrago and Snorlax Gormandize. Hopefully he open with one of these Pokemon and you can utilize them. And then the last Pokemon is going to be double Manaphy with Way of Veil, bench protection, a lot of dangerous snipers and Pokemon that hit the bench these days. So just going to do 2. Normally I do 1, but there isn't really anything else for us to add in this deck, like another attacker or just something else. So I just did 2 so I can have at least 10 basic Pokemon. It's kind of like my minimum. I usually want to have at least 11, but more often than not, like I do 10, and I don't want to go lower than that. 10 should be good enough. Okay, so that we don't mulligan all day long. And these are the Pokemon, 15 Pokemon. The trainer line is going to be really heavy with Pokemon searchers. You max out the level ball because almost all of our Pokemon are small. We can grab just about anything, including the Curlia. So you do this. You run this card. And then I do triple Fog Crystal. This card is also nice as it's going to be basically a nest ball for Psychic Pokemon. I can grab the routes, put them in hand, and even grab the Mew as well. So that's pretty good. And I can even grab a basic Psychic Energy. We don't have too many of those, but it's still nice that you can grab a Psychic Energy if you want, making this card like an energy search. So if you grabbed a bunch of Pokemon and you don't need to grab any more, then it still has a use. So 7 of these should be pretty nice. And triple Evolution Incense, get those evolution Pokemon, our most effective method to get any one of the Gallades. Once we get Gallade, evolve into it, then we can grab a supporter with this guy. So just more consistent than other stage 2 decks, as I've said. So important. Then I got the typical text that you gotta run, like the 4 rare candies. Max this out to get your stage 2 effectively out. Then we do the 1 ordinary route for recovery. I wish we had a better recovery card to grab a bunch of Pokemon, like even something like Sacred Ash, which I never really used, but right now, because we don't have Super Rod or a Rescue Stretcher, I'd rather have something like that, to be honest. But I guess this is going to give me 2 Pokemon and 2 basic energy cards. I mean, it can't be good, grabbing basic energies too. You never know. It can come up. I don't have too many, but you never know when it's going to come up. But I think I would rather just have like Super Rod or something. Yeah, just grab 3 Pokemon sometimes. We got a few switching outlets. I gotta have them in this deck. 1 switch and double Scoop Up Net. Obviously, this is for the regular Pokemon like Jirachi, Snorlax, Mew. Get them out of the way if you are ready and you can attack. Not waste any time. Of course, they're compatible. Scoop Up Net is compatible with Gallade. So I guess if they hurt him and they don't kill him, which is very unlikely, you could do this, I guess, in a pinch to not give your opponent a prize if you have somebody else that's ready to attack. So, yeah, why not? So that's the switching outlets. And basically, that's all the items. I don't have any tools. I believe running a card like Choice Belt in this deck is redundant because you're not really going to get any one-hit knockouts. Maybe it can help Gallade a little bit, but it's just kind of pointless. Putting a card like that just hurts your consistency even more. I can't tell you how many L's I got with this deck because I brick or because just something goes wrong. It's just very difficult still. No matter what you do, these decks aren't always consistent. You struggle to set up. You need to gather the energies to attack before you can save them with Swirling Slice. It's just difficult. But yeah, that's why I don't run Choice Belt. If this guy does 190, it hardly makes a difference. So at the end of the day, you're going to be getting 2-hit KOs, best case scenario on V-Stars. So I don't see the point in running Choice Belt. Alright, so that's it. No tools, no other item cards. Stadium of Choice is going to be the triple Path to the Peak. I really want to make this card work for me, negate our opponent's rule box, effects, abilities. Your only like main merit using a stage 2 deck, like using regular Pokemon. So try and make use of this, try and take advantage of this, hopefully hurt our opponent. So do triple. You can do double if you want and then just add another consistency card, but people run a lot of stadiums these days, so we need a few of our own to counter them. I think just 3 is better than 2. Of course, it can be dead. If your opponent uses this as well, then it's going to be stuck in your deck and hand. I don't really have any ways to discard cards. There's no Ultra Ball. So it can't be kind of dead, but I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen. Just do 3. You can do 2 if you want, but I do 3. And now for the supporter cards. So since this guy can grab any supporter card from your deck, I'm running a few interesting sort of tech supporters that normally wouldn't be very effective. Or one of them anyway. I guess Birdkeeper isn't that useless. But anyway, with the standard supporters, I do the triple Marnie. You gotta have her, Disruption, and Decent Draw. The one Research, as usual, my theory with only running one of this card here. You don't want to discard your candies, don't want to discard your Pokemon. You don't want to discard your puzzle pieces that you need them. You need all of these cards together to work. That's the annoying thing. That's why things like Darkrai and other decks, they just benefit more from cards like these, and they're just more consistent. It's just they're more suited for the format, basically. You know, these slower Pokemon are more difficult to work. So just do only one Research, and then hopefully we can search it with Gallade when we have like a low hand size or something. Then it's gonna be hot. And I do the one Schoolgirl, solid in the beginning of the game. Just draw 4 cards when your opponent's at 6 prizes, so why not? Once again, can instantly search this with Gallade when my opponent is at 2 prizes and I can use it. So that's nice. And the one Skyla, get any item card, Stadium, Supporter, pretty good. Damn, once again, it's just so much utility when you can grab just any supporter that you need with this card. It just goes to show you why the old quick search Pidgeot from Fire and Leaf Green used to be so great. And you could grab any card, but I mean, just grabbing a supporter, it's still pretty broken. I mean, you would commonly grab a supporter with Pidgeot as well too. So anyway, where was I? Okay, Copycat, once again, just decent supporter. If your opponent has a big hand size, you can utilize this card and draw more cards. And then the Cynthia's Ambition, your Pokemon are probably going to be dying turn after turn. So you can use this draw until you have 8. Effective supporter. Then we got the boss's orders to win you the game, hopefully. Use it at the right time. Once again, you can grab this with Gallade, making it even more broken. And then the last 2 supporter cards, less commonly used in my decks. We got this Birdkeeper. I've used this card in other more hit and switchy decks where you want to have more switching outlets. Birdkeeper, you switch your opponents, you switch your Pokemon with your bench Pokemon, and then you draw 3 cards. So it's nice. If you know you want to switch and you need a supporter to draw a few cards, then it's the way to go. So it's pretty good. We can grab it at the right time we want to with Gallade once again. So this is why I wanted to have it. Another switching outlet. So that's pretty nice. And then the new supporter that I'm really glad I have an excuse to run is this Roxanne. First gym leader from Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. I love her. You guys should know that. She's pretty cool. One of the coolest gym leaders in my opinion. Because that start of the game in Ruby and Sapphire is just very nostalgic, very cool for me. That sort of period. You know, with her Geodude and Nose Pass. But anyway, this card, the reason it's in here is because this is a much stronger, I guess, N or Marnie, you could say. But it has a harder condition to meet. You can only use this card if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards. So if you got this, if you have this in the beginning, it's your only supporter, and you have this, then it's a dead card, and I know that that can suck. So it can potentially be dead. There's some risk trying to use this card. But mid to late game, when your opponent is winning, let's say, or they just basically have 3 or less prize cards, you grab this with Gallade, you put them to 2, you draw 6. I mean, it's pretty damn good. Especially considering we don't have supporters like Cynthia right now. The closest thing is just Marnie. So Marnie is more, I guess, reliable, you could say, but Roxanne has stronger disruption once your opponent is at 3 prizes and going to give you an extra card. So I wanted to run her since I got Gallade and I can grab this at the right time I want to. You know, I wish she put the opponent at 1 card, just like N, best case scenario. But 2 should be pretty strong as well. It's just some very solid disruption. So that's why she's in here. I don't really see many different decks utilizing this card because, I mean, I guess decks that really just know they're going to be behind in prizes, but you just can't use it. It's not like some other supporters like Twins, where you just need to be, your opponent just needs to be ahead of you in prizes. So once they get the first prize, even if there are 5, you're at 6, that you can use it. This is just, they gotta be a 3 or less. So I think they just made this card a bit weaker than it should have been. But it's still what we got. It should still be a strong supporter when you can use it. So I decided to run it. It's Gallade after all. So that's the supporter cards. And the last thing to talk about is the energies. You obviously do the 4 twin energy, which is DC for these regular Pokemon. We got to do that. And then I do 1 double turbo energy. Just 1 extra, just so we can have the 5th, I guess, double colorless. I don't like the -20. Well, actually, I do like it. I think it's a fair effect to have on a strong energy card like this. But since this guy does shit damage already, you just barely get into 2-hit KOs. If you do 140 and then 140, I guess you can still, that's 280, you can still get like a 2-hit KO on a V-Star, but it's just, if they have cards that block damage, do a little bit of healing or whatever, it just fucks up your 2-hit KO. So that's why it's not so great with Gallade, but just 1 extra copy in addition to the twin energies should be good. I got the quadruple horror energy. This can help out a little bit since we're using psychic Pokemon. Our main attacker is psychic. Get that extra 2 damage counters if they attack it. It can help. Once again, with the 2-hit KO setup. And then 3 basic psychic energies. Just 3 because all of the other ones eat up space. They're special. 12 energies. I don't want to go over that. Should be good if we're going to supposedly be conserving the energies with this guy's attack. So I think 12 is more than good enough. 3 basic psychic energies. I guess it gives you a little bit of it gives you at least a few options if your opponent is using, what the fuck is it called? The damn Duraludon VMAX. But I mean, I guess we got this card that's going to help. Perhaps even worse would be the Whimsicott V-Star right now, which does see some play to counter stuff like Arceus V-Star, I guess. So it might not be enough, you know, just having the 3 basic psychic energies, but drop in the horror energies for more basic psychic energies. I don't know if I want to do that. This card, you know, 2 damage counters is pretty good. So we're just going to take the risk. Okay, and this is the deck, guys. Once again, don't get the idea that this is like tier 1 or anything. It's like tier 4, maybe tier 3 if you want to be generous. Just like the other stage 2 Pokemon. I don't know if I would say it's better than Desada-I. Maybe Desada-I is more reliable, but this guy can be pretty good too. Buddy Catch is a great ability. We're going to try and make it work. Try and get some wins. In Expanded, I guess you have some other options, but I'm going to use this in Standard. Since we have enough cards to make it work. And that's about it. I'll see you guys at the matches. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the matches. Was I?